Hey guys, Mrs. Dan's here. So I decided that I would make you a video of me doing all the review questions. So you did get the answers in Remind, but maybe hearing me talk about certain questions would be helpful. You can fast forward through this and just go to the questions that you need help with. I'm curious, if you like it this way or not. So first, the complement of an angle that measures 30. Remember, complement is like complementary. We need angles that add up to 90. So if one of them's 30, I could just subtract from 90 to find the other one, and the other one must be 60 degrees. Name the vertex of the angle. The vertex is where these two sides meet, so that's C. Name the angle. I can name it with 3 letters. It could be called angle XCB. I could also call it BCX. In this case, I could actually even call it just angle C. If we put a number in here, we could even call it angle 1. And then it says measure the angle with a protractor. I can't put a protractor here on my screen. Turns out to be about 22 degrees, though, if you use your protractor properly. What are 2 lines that form right angles called? That was on page 1 of this workbook, actually. Perpendicular lines. Those are the lines that intersect to form right angles. Parallel lines are the kinds of lines that never intersect. A transversal is that line that passes through 2 or more other lines. True-false questions are always so tricky in math applications. So adjacent angles. Well, I like to see the picture. I think of something like this when we're talking about adjacent, like angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles. Adjacent angles have the same vertex? True, they both share this point right here. But do not have a side in common? Well, that's false. You can clearly see that angle 1 and angle 2 share this side. Remember, they like lean on each other. So this is a false statement because it says they do not have a side in common. That's false. They do have a side in common. Number 5, if 2 parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the interior angles on the same side, that would be something like these two, they're interior on the same side, says that they're equal. Just from the look of this picture, I could tell they're not equal. This top one looks obtuse, where this lower one looks acute. It's alternate interior angles that are equal, not on the same side. So this is a false statement. Number 6 tricks people sometimes. Just look at the degrees in which you're turning. If you turn 30 degrees and then turn another 150 degrees, it means you turned a total of 180 degrees. If you were facing north and you turn 180 degrees, you're now facing south. 2 angles of a right triangle. So let's draw something that looks like a right triangle. Are congruent. 2 angles. So they're talking about these other 2 angles. And I labeled them both the same because it says that they're congruent. So the measure of the angles. Well, I know that 3 angles in a triangle add up to 180. So when I solve this, I'm going to get 45. And you can test it out. 45 plus 45 plus 90 does equal 180. This is a picture of a linear pair. Remember, linear pairs add up to 180. So I could just do 180 minus 67. And get 113 degrees. The lines are already drawn for us, intersecting at E. And they're telling me that AEC, this one, is vertical to DEB. That's true. And they're telling me the measures. So, or an algebraic representation of these angles. But since they're vertical, we know that they're equal to each other. So I can solve the equation that says 4x minus 79 equals 3x minus 29. And when we solve this, where did my x go? Yikes. This crosses off. This is a 1x. So 1x, shoot, I got confused for a moment. 1x equals 50. So x is 50. Find x, I did. If they asked me to find the angle measurements, I would have gone and substituted them back in. What is the supplement of a 50-degree angle? Supplement, you think about 180. So 180 minus 50 is 130 degrees. Find x and then find the measure of angle A. So it's kind of like we have a part A and a part B here. So I have to find x. On this one I have 3 interior angles of a triangle. The 3 interior angles of a triangle add to 180. Remember, it's called the triangle sum theory. So x plus 59 plus 84 plus x plus 51 equals 180. And we'll combine like terms. So that's a 2x. And remember, you're allowed to use a calculator. So I'm getting mine out. 59 plus 84 plus 51 is 194. And we subtract 194 from both sides. And you get a negative answer. You get negative 14. And when you divide by 2, you get x is negative 7. Don't panic that this is negative. X is just a value of that variable. It's not the angle measurement. Right now I'm going to take this x equals negative 7 and substitute it in. Negative 7 plus 51 doesn't give me a negative answer for my angle now, so all is good. This turns out to be 44 degrees, and when I put negative 7 in here, negative 7 plus 59 is a 52. So now I found all the angle measurements. They really only asked for angle A, so angle A is 44. The value of x is negative 7. And then on this other one, this is our latest fact that we learned. Remember, we learned that the sum of the 2 remote interior angles equals the exterior. As like a shortcut, we wrote interior plus interior equals exterior. Remember, the interior ones have to be far away from the exterior. So 2x plus 103 minus x equals 6x minus 7. And we can solve this equation. I'll combine my like terms over here. I'll subtract x. I'll add 7. I'm going to come over here. 110 equals 5x. Divide by 5. So x equals 22. If x is 22 and I need the measure of angle x, I do 103 minus 22. 81. So the measure of angle A is 81. The value of x is 22. Number 12. So I like looking at my given and filling it in a picture. And now I'll go through the chart. Measure of angle 1. I could see it's 90 degrees, and it's because it was given. Then they're asking for the measure of angle 4. and I notice that angle 1 and angle 4 make this straight line, which really means they're a linear pair. Linear pair adds to 180, so if angle 1 is 90, angle 4 must also be 90, because 90 plus 90 is 180. Next, they're asking for angle 3, which I know is 35 because it was given. Now they're asking for angle 7, and they kind of like give me a hint because they're already telling me to look at angle 4, angle 3, and angle 7. Do you notice that these three angles are in a triangle? So 90 plus 35, and then 180 minus that 125. I get this is 55 degrees. So I know angle 7 is 55 degrees because of the triangle sum theory with angles 4, 3, and 7. The measure of angle 8. I notice that 4 and 8 are vertical. Vertical angles are congruent. The measure of angle 2, and they want me to look for alternate exterior angles. 2 and 8 are alternate exterior. And if 8 is 90, that means that 2 is 90 because alternate exterior angles are congruent. Then they want angle 5, and they tell me to compare 5 and 8. 5 and 8 are corresponding. They're the ones that like slide on each other. If angle 8 is 90, then angle 5 is 90 because corresponding angles are congruent. And finally, angle 6, and they want me to look at 6 and 7. 6 and 7 are alternate exterior. Alternate exterior angles are congruent, therefore angle 6 must also be 55 degrees. On number 13, I'm going to use the fact that the remote interior angles add up to equal the exterior angle. So I can just solve this equation. And I get x is 90. This picture is definitely not drawn to scale because that angle does not look 90 degrees. I'm going to use the same fact on number 14. The sum of the two interior angles equals the exterior. So I get that it's 40 degrees. On number 15, it's easier than what you think. Don't get tricked by extra information. They want angle x, and I notice there's a straight line right here, which means there's a linear pair. 79 and x should make 180, so I could just do 180 minus 79. To get 101. I didn't need this 25. It wasn't unnecessary. And number 16, I'm going to do the sum of the interior angles equals the exterior, so x plus 81 equals 156. So x is 75. I think 17 is a bit tricky. I would actually look at it sideways, and these are the parallel lines, and this is one transversal. So if I have a box here, I know it's 90 degrees, and if I slide this up, I get a box here. These are called corresponding angles. So I know that angle x is 90 degrees. When I look at this transversal, this is the part that's tricky. They're giving me this interior angle and this interior angle. Interior angles on the same side aren't equal to each other. Interior angles on the seam side add to 180. So I'm going to put my paper back to normal. Interior angles on the seam side add to 180. So y minus 18 plus y plus 12 equals 180 degrees. Combine like terms. I get y is 93. Solve for x, y, and z. So I found x to be 90. I found y to be 93. The only way I could find z, though, is if I know this angle in here. So I'm going to plug in my 93 in place of my y, and 93 minus 18 turns out to be 75. So this angle is 75. Now what I notice is that I have three angles here that make a straight line. So 90 plus 75 plus the z is supposed to be 180 degrees. So 90 plus 75 is 165. So when I solve this equation, I get 15. We're getting there. Now, some people get confused on 18. 18 is more of like a bonus question on your test. As long as you don't give up, you'll find the answer. Don't just go and find the angles in the order. Find even angles that aren't marked. I actually want to find this one first because I notice it's part of a triangle. So, three angles in a triangle add up to 180. 46 plus 65 is 111. 180 minus 111 is 69. This is 69 degrees. And you can test it if necessary, like do 46 plus 65 plus 69, and you do get 180. But now that I found this one that didn't have a mark in it, I know it's vertical to angle 2. So now I know angle 2 is 69 degrees. I know that there's a linear pair right here, 69 and angle 1. So if I do 180 minus 69, I'll find angle 1, which is 111, which really can be found from like the sum of the two interior angles actually, equals that exterior. Now I'm going over to the triangle on the right. I notice this linear pair, so I'll find this angle in here by doing 180 minus 142 to get 38. I can look at this triangle and say the three angles in a triangle add up to 180, so 82 plus 38 is 120, and 180 minus 120 is 60. If angle 3 is 60, then angle 4 is 60, because vertical angles are congruent, and now I have one more triangle to look at. Right here, this triangle should make 180. So I have 69 plus 60, and then 180 minus 129 is 51. So now I was able to find missing angles. If I have a triangle, I know that the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C is 180 degrees, which means That's called the triangle sum theory. Number 20, measure of angle 8 is 4x. Measure of angle 7 is 30. Measure of 9 is 6x minus 20. And they want to find x. So I really don't need angle 6, 11, or 10. I could do the two interior angles, add up to be the exterior. And then solve this equation. So x is 25, and that's all they wanted to know. This is the page that you had like typos on the page. I don't know, the page just didn't print properly. It's actually not a typo. This is what it looks like. So I gave you a copy of it. This is a picture of complementary, because it's two angles that add up to 90. So each word only gets used once. This is a linear pair. These are vertical angles. These slide down on top of each other, so they're corresponding. I'm skipping E. That's the one I don't like. Those are interior on the same side. F, I see that they're alternate exterior. G are alternate interior. H, these are just adjacent. And now we could go back to E. These have to be supplementary. Supplementary angles add up to 180. These can't be called a linear pair because they don't form a straight line, but they really do add up to 180. And then review of past units. This is here because there's always a couple of review questions. So solve the system graphically. Please make sure you're doing it graphically. It means they have to be in y equals mx plus b form. So the first equation, I have to divide both sides by 3 to get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So the slope is negative 2/3 and the y-intercept is 4. Let me just make this a little bit larger. So I'm going to start at 4. I'm going to go down 2 to the right 3. I'm going to go in the other direction. I'm going to do the best straight line I can without a ruler. It's hard with on a computer. Not bad if I do say so myself. We have to label that line. I like labeling it the original. And then I have to graph the other line. It also has to be put into y equals mx plus b form, so I'll add x to both sides. The slope is 1, and the y-intercept is 4. I already found where they cross. Slope of 1 means go up 1, right 1. Label it. If it says solve graphically, it means I have to name that point of intersection. It's at 0, 4. And it says do a check. Remember, when you do a check, it means you plug it into both equations. So if I check my first equation, 3 times 4 is supposed to equal negative 2 times 0 plus 12. So does 12 equal 0 plus 12? Sure does. 12 equals 12. And then if I check my second one, in place of y, I'll put a 4. In place of x, I'll put a 0. And 4 minus 0 is 4, so the second one checks also. Which of the following systems has no solution? No solution would mean that the lines are parallel. So I actually want to get them, I guess, into y equals mx plus b form. It's like a lot of work, actually. Let's see. On this first one, I'll subtract 2. Get 8x minus 2 equals 2y, and divide by 2. So I get y equals 4x minus 1. Well, if this is a 4 and this is a 4, this has no solution. I guess I found it in choice A. That was nice. So all the others, I guess their slopes are different. I guess they're not the same. Let's just like prove it with maybe a couple. So 3x equals 6 plus 2y. Subtract 6. And divide by 2. Yeah, look at that. The slope is 3 over 2. So that doesn't work. So I guess the answer is choice A. I'm not going to do them all. Combine like terms to simplify. So this is 5x plus 5. Done. Solve for x. So first we distribute. Then we combine like terms. And now we could add 12 to both sides and divide by 2. In which graph does line L have a negative slope? Negative slopes slant downward. So choice 1. This is positive. This is undefined. And this is 0. Just for your knowledge. And finally, the accompanying graph represents the yearly cost of playing 0 to 5 games. What is the total cost of joining the club and playing 3 games? Here's 3 games. Just like look up, find the point, and look over to find the value. So 3 games is $180, and then 8 games. So it like goes off the graph. So we can look and see that it's going up by 30 each time. Right? Each time I go up, I'm going up 30 over 1. So 5 games is 240. So 6 games, I can add on 30, would be 270. 7 games, I can add on 30 again. And then 8 games, I can add on 30 again. Found it. 8 games is 330. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know what you think. Maybe you just went to certain questions, but I wish you the best of luck tomorrow, and I'll see you. Bye.